Hey guys, Jonah here, and I'm back with a home brew review. And yeah, it's one of mine. It's the kit that I did a few Wednesdays ago. Um, it is the Honey Porter, the beer kit, in fact, by St. Peter's Brewery. And I think it's made by Monktons. A lot of the beer kits over here are made by Monktons. But yeah, that means they're quite good. It's a 2-can kit. But what I did was I used 1 can. I did a mini mash with some oats, and yeah, I put an extra jar of honey in it. The only thing was, it came out a little bit weak. Came out about 4.5%, and I was probably aiming. I didn't measure that much on it, to be perfectly honest, but I was trying to aim for about sort of 5-ish. I got 4.5. It's not too bad, but it's not. Yeah, it's not exactly where I wanted it to be. But you guys don't care about my woes. By the way, if you're going to mash with oats, Jesus, they go all sort of gelatinous and sort of weird. What I would highly recommend you do is do a proper sparge, because otherwise your bag. I did a I did a brew in a bag. I did a mash in the bag with oats. Yeah, your bag gets just gelled up, and you have to you have to wash it and boil it and all sorts just to get that blooming gelatinous stuff out. Anyway, first world problems, eh? When you're homebrewing. This is a 2-litre pop bottle. It was a Diet Coke one. I don't think that's, it might be a Diet Coke lid. Not 100% sure, but hey, recycle the lid. Let's see if we get a bit of a hiss. That was the other thing that was a bit weird on this beer, was I didn't get a huge amount of carbonation, as you'll probably see. So let's pour. Let's do quite an aggressive pour. I'll leave it down there. I mean, a little bit of head, but yeah, it could be better. No worries. Now, the other thing I would recommend you do, if you're going to make this kit, is to kind of short brew it, so it's a bit more alcoholic. But also, I wouldn't use honey as an adjunct because it's got plenty honey in already. I mean, look, that not too bad ahead, but you will see that'll fast disappear it, and yeah, we're not left with too much. Anyway, never mind. Lovely, lovely colour, and this is a porter, not a stout, and it is like dark. It is dark, man. And the honey, this, if you like honey, this beer is what it's all about. And it's a honey, I think it's some sort of honey flavouring. I'm not sure how they've added it. But yeah, let me tell you, this does not need any more honey. And I put an extra jar of honey in, but it's really dark, kind of dark honey, like manuka, or like, almost like treacle. It's ridiculous. And that's what you get on the nose. It's just dark, man. Dark, but good. Right, let me try. Let me just swirl a little bit. Let me try and encourage a little bit more head if I can. There we go. Look at that. See how that's kind of stuck a little bit on the side of the glass, which is a good thing in my book, especially with dark beers. And that was supposed to be finished, ready for Christmas, and it wasn't quite. It needed an extra week or two in the bottle, basically to carb up, and it's still not fully there. I mean, look, it's got a nice head on it, a little bit flat, but yeah, a little bit undercarbed. Might leave it another couple of weeks, something like that. Hopefully, it will carb up a bit more. Right, let's dig in, guys. Chin chin. Oh, so the honey flavour is what hits you first. And it's a little bit watery, I have to say. Perhaps if I'd put the ABV beat up a little bit, it would offset it a little bit, but it is a touch watery. The other thing is you can kind of tell that this is a kit beer. It's not bad, but it doesn't taste like a proper sort of cask ale or a bottle conditioned ale should do. And okay, I put it in a massive pop bottle, shall we say. Um, and if it was in glass, would it taste the same? There's some people say that if you're recycling your plastic PET bottles, sometimes you get a bit of flavour from the bottle. It leaches some of the plastic around. Maybe that's it, but maybe it's just because it's a kit brew. Anyway, have a look at that, because this was one of the reasons I wanted to try and add the oats to get a lovely line. But can you see what's happened? There's a thick line at the top, but then it's not created a perfect line. Let's see what we get on the second draft. So when you're buying premium kits, toucan kits, you expect, well, I expect a little bit of extra unctuousness, extra body, extra flavour, purely because it's 2 cans as opposed to 1 can plus a bag of sugar or something like that. Especially when I've added an adjunct to this. In this case, I've added a shed load of oats. But I'm not necessarily getting that creaminess that I was kind of expecting. It's a bit of a shame. It's a bit too watery, put it that way. I'd have been much happier if it tasted a bit thicker, a bit sort of. Do you know what I mean? Whoa. And yet again, we do have a nice line at the top, but then it kind of doesn't kind of stay on the side of the glass the way I kind of wanted it to. It's a bit of a shame in my book. Okay, this is a porter, not a stout. However, again, because I put the addition of the oats in there, what I might try and do next time, he says, is maybe doing oats and wheat, and then backing it down to, I think in the end, it was, say you're aiming for, I think we're aiming for like 19-20 litres of beer. And what I did for this one is I got up to about 12 and a half. So not only did I not go down, I actually went up in my water, which will probably, that's why it's tasting a bit watery. But weirdly, it's still got that obscene amount of, yeah, my God, what would the honey flavour be like if it was a bit less on the water side of things? Don't know. Maybe oats, wheat. No, don't put honey in it. Whatever you do, if you get the honey porter, do not put honey in it. You don't need it. Maybe some candied sugar, just to give it a bit more oomph. Do you know what I mean? I mean, theoretically, you could put something like dark treacle, but I think that would act as another honey substitute, so you'd get even more kind of sweetness and stuff. That's not really what you need to do with this. Perhaps what I should have done, and what I might do next time, because I've got another batch going at the moment that I didn't film. So batch number 2 is currently in the shed. it's done its brew, but it's kind of in the secondary, if you like. I probably should have racked it off by now, but I haven't. Been a lazy home brewer. But with this kit, the way I'm doing it, 1 can, 10 litres of water, and I reckon maybe a little bit of sugar mixed in with your mini mash, oats, wheat, 500 grams maybe of sugar. That's probably too much for a, in fact, that is probably way too much, but it'll boost the alcohol up and it probably will thin out the honey flavour. If you're using dextrose or some sugars, it should strip the flavours a little bit. And this is way too much honey flavour, in my opinion. So yeah, and maybe keep a control on the on the actual the gravity readings. I don't want to go too high, but if it goes up to 6%, so I'm aiming for 5, but if it goes up to 6, I don't mind. 4.5 doesn't quite do it for me. Yeah, I mean, it's drinking, it's easy drinking. You can definitely sink a fair few of these. I mean, I didn't fill it up all the way, but look, 1, 2, 3, that bottom line is the best one of them all. How crazy is that? Anyway, this has been Uncle Jonah doing some home brew for a change. That is how this kind of channel started, and hopefully we can grow it. I'm thinking about buying a one vessel system. So I've been doing kits, like a few kits. It's not quite doing. There's nothing wrong with kits, put it that way, but it's not quite doing it for me hobby wise because you can't tinker as much. I mean, you can do what I do and make a 2 can kit, split it, then mess around with it, do a mini mash. If it's another type of beer, put some extra hops in it. Done that before, but I reckon I could brew a mean honey porter from scratch using grains, and I really, after my beer of the year last year, which was the Imperial Banana Stout, I really want to give it a go. Get the bananas, wait for them to go a bit black and mushy, do a mash just with the bananas, do another mash for your beer, combine them. I am the weaver, combining them and having a ridiculous 11 or 12% stout. And leave that in the bottle for a while. Shame on. The other thing I'm thinking is getting into kegging as well, but it's going to be, it's all about money. I've got to find some money from somewhere. And I've got to convince the missus as well. Although I found a place, I didn't know exactly, but I was picking up a guy from work. Well, I was picking him up to take him into work because he doesn't drive. He's got some medical problems, which means he can't drive. Um, and I saw a company on this estate. I picked him up on a like a trading estate thing. There's like a breakfast van. He had his bacon sandwich or whatever. I was like, oh, gas. And I looked them up online. They do CO2, they do nitro mix, and I can pick them up 5 minutes from my house. Don't have to deliver them. I can literally drive there, pick them up, and they're pretty well cheap as well. I mean, they're not majorly cheap, but the first time you go, you have to pay money to buy the cylinder as well, which about, for the small ones, it's about 25, 30 quid. So what's that? Maybe getting up for $40 for the deposit. And then filling it up is like 20 quid, I think. Something ridiculous. It might even be under that. And they do nitro as well. So I can, if I get this stout, I don't know. What do you guys think? I know I've probably gone over a bit of time normally, but what do you think about imperial stout, in this case a banana one, on nitro. So proper head, but Jesus Christ, you can't really drink a pint. Well, you could drink a pint of 11% beer. I mean, on nitro. Ugh. As long as you get the banana out, and you probably will, because you're going to lose all the little particulates and stuff. They're all going to settle to the bottom of the fermentation vessel. But yeah, what do you guys reckon? Imperial banana stout on nitro. Absolutely ridiculous. What do you think? Should I do some kegging? That's the thing. The other thing was, you can get. I don't know if you've looked at Dave. Is it Dave Heath? I think he loves Kegland products. The Australian guys. You can get like kegs, but they're like 4 litres or 8 litres. So it's like a bottle like this, but bigger. That'll fit in the fridge, and then you can use it. Put a special valve in the top here. You can use it like a keg, but it's like a plastic. Have you seen those things? Absolutely crazy. So there are some options out for me. A lot of it. This is the annoying thing. So home brewing. The reason I home brew anyway is because beer is quite expensive, especially in the UK. Sorry, I'm filling up my glass again. Can I have some more of this? Oh, it does actually. It does. It doesn't half look bad in the glass, does it? It's just the taste isn't quite there. Maybe that'll come with time. I'm hoping it will. I think I'm going to try and go to the home brew club and take this along, which is going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's on a Wednesday night as well, Homebrew Wednesday, which should be cool. Take this along and see what they think. And they're all like all grain. There's a couple of guys who do some kits, but the regular people, they do their all grain. They're into their all grain, which is fair enough. But when you've only got a small shed, which is full of just crap, I can't really put huge amounts of money onto keysers and a 3-vessel system. But I might be able to stretch to like a Grainfather or a cheaper version. Do you know what I mean? What was I looking at? The Brewster. That is a lot cheaper. What's the Kegland? Is it the Brewzilla or something like that? The Brewzilla is a little bit cheaper than the Grainfather as well. But the Grainfathers are they look amazingly cool. And then if you got loads of money, you could go for a Brew Tools, just ridiculous system, which is basically, it's a brewery. You know what I mean? Everything's about circulation of liquids. Even when you're doing your cleaning and stuff, you never scrub it. You're just whirlpooling like brewing chemicals and weird shit like that. Hey, I could be talking shit. Why don't you tell me in the comments below what you think? And cheers, and hopefully you've got beers on this early Homebrew Wednesday. This is Unclejona, getting back to the roots and doing some homebrew. Oh, before I go, I wanted to give a shout to SJ Poor. Don't know if you guys saw, but he did a brew day on Sunday, and I caught it. In the UK, it was about 6-7 o'clock in the evening, and I put it on. It was on my phone. Oh, hey, SJ's. So I said hello to him, and then I beamed it to my TV, put my phone down, was watching him on the big TV, watching SJ Poor doing his brew day on his new system with his kind of, I don't know what it is, sort of like it's like a rims kind of thing he's got, I think, or something a bit crazy. But yeah, watch the brew day, 5 hours worth or whatever it was. I love SJ. So cheers, SJ. Don't know if you'll be watching this, but shame on to you, brother. And we'll see you real soon. for more beer and more Unclejona wrongness. Cheers and beers, guys, and we'll see you. More beer reviews coming out, definitely, but more homebrew as well. Cheers, guys.